Celebrate the good, because it is coming. Before you start, subscribe to the channel, like it, and stay until the end of the video, because what I'm going to share with you today is something that really made a difference in my life. For 30 days, I decided to practice gratitude intentionally, and the results were surprising. I know we often hear about the power of gratitude, but does it really work? Stay with me until the end and come understand how this simple practice can transform our way of seeing the world and even our lives. For a long time, I had heard about the power of gratitude. People said it could change the way we feel, improve our relationships, and even attract good things into our lives. But honestly, did it really work, or was it just another one of those motivational phrases that we see around? I decided to give it a try. For 30 days, I practiced gratitude intentionally, every day, and the results were surprising. The first few days, I confess that it was a little strange. We are so used to focusing on what is missing, what is wrong, that stopping to be thankful seemed like a forced effort. But I stuck with it. Every morning, before anything else, I would grab a notebook and write down 3 things I was grateful for. At first, the notes were simple. The smell of fresh coffee, the birds singing, a loving message from a friend. Little things that, until then, had gone unnoticed. Little by little, I began to notice something curious. We complain automatically, without even noticing. In traffic, at work, at home. And every time I caught myself doing this, I tried to replace the complaint with a thought of gratitude. At first, it was difficult, but I realized that the more I did it, the easier it became. As if my mind was being trained to see the good side of things. In the second week, something different happened. My mood began to change. I felt lighter, less anxious, and I began to notice beauties that had previously gone unnoticed. The sunset seemed more beautiful, the late afternoon breeze was more refreshing, even the spontaneous laughter of someone close to me brought me genuine joy. It was as if a new world was unfolding before me, a world that had always been there, but that I had never really paid attention to. Another surprising thing was the impact on my relationships. When I started expressing more gratitude for the people around me, something magical happened. They started to reciprocate. Small gestures, kind words, sincere smiles. The atmosphere around me became lighter, the conversations more pleasant, and the moments more special. And all of this started simply because I started showing more gratitude for what I already had. In the third week, I noticed that my productivity also increased. Before, I would wake up and start the day thinking about my worries and problems to solve. But when I started the day with gratitude, everything changed. I felt more motivated, more creative, and even tasks that had previously seemed boring became easier. Gratitude gave me new energy to act, instead of just reacting to the circumstances of the day. And it didn't stop there. I also realized that I was dealing with challenges better. Before, any unexpected event would irritate me. Now, when something went wrong, I would take a deep breath and try to find something positive in the situation. This doesn't mean that I started to ignore problems, but I learned to deal with them more calmly, without letting them consume me. In the fourth week, I realized something even more profound. Gratitude was no longer an exercise that I had to remember to do. It was already part of me. I started to wake up naturally thinking about good things, even before picking up my notebook to write them down. It was a new way of living. My heart was lighter, my mind clearer, and, above all, I felt much happier. One of the most memorable moments of this journey was when I realized that my relationship with myself had also changed. I used to be very critical of myself, always thinking that I could have done better, that I needed to improve more. But when I started to be grateful for who I already am and what I have already achieved, this self-criticism began to give way to a more loving acceptance. This made a huge difference in my self-esteem. Another important point was noticing the physical impact of this practice. I felt less tired, I slept better, and even my digestion seemed easier. I can't explain exactly why, but I believe that when we reduce stress and anxiety, our body responds positively. I also started to notice that my relationship with money changed. Before, I always thought about what was missing, what I still needed to achieve. But when I started to be grateful for what I already had, I felt calmer. Interestingly, it was exactly during this period that I started to have new financial opportunities, as if my energy was more open to prosperity. And then, when I reached the end of the challenge, I realized that I didn't want to stop. Gratitude became part of my life, something I do naturally, effortlessly. And the best part? I don't need something extraordinary to happen to feel gratitude. Each day has its special moments, you just have to be attentive to see them. If someone asked me if it's worth practicing gratitude, my answer would be a resounding yes. Gratitude doesn't change the world around us, but it does change the way we see it, and that makes all the difference. Difficulties still exist, but now I face them with a new perspective. Today, the first thing I do when I wake up is to give thanks. And this simple change has transformed my life. Gratitude has taught me that it's not about waiting for everything to be perfect to be happy, but rather learning to find beauty and meaning in the present, in the now. If you've never tried it, I want to challenge you. Grab a notebook and, for at least 7 days, write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning. It may seem repetitive at first, but keep going. And then, notice how this changes your perception of the world around you. This experience taught me that gratitude is not just a feeling, but a daily choice. And this choice can completely change our lives. If this story resonated with you, share this idea with more people. Let's spread this chain of gratitude together. I'm so glad you've watched this far. If you like the content, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel to watch all of our videos. Subscribe and don't miss the next content. Always keep vibrating the good that comes, because your interaction here is essential to keep this positive energy circulating. See you soon.